Welcome to this lesson. In Greek, when two nouns, which can either be two proper nouns, adjectives or participles, are connected by ke and the article precedes only the first noun, there is, as stated by Dr. Wallace, a close connection between the two. Since you will meet these types of constructions in both exegeting text out of the New Testament and in the exercises that you are doing. In this lesson, by way of considering a specific New Testament text, we are going to learn how to recognize what is called a TSKS construction. Our text for this lesson comes out of the book of John. John 6 verse 33 reads, Ho gar artos tu theou estin, ho katavenon ek tu uranu ke zawain vidus to cosmo. Translation: For the bread of God is the one coming down from heaven and who gives life to the world. Let us now consider the syntactical relationships in this text. Since verse 33 provides additional information to that what is being said by Jesus in verse 32, the verse starts with an explanatory conjunction gar, which is translated as for. Next we have the subject ha artos tu theou and the main verb estin. As you know, since the main verb estin is an equator verb, there will not be a direct object receiving the action of the verb, but a predicate nominative which describes the subject in greater detail. In this instance, the predicate nominative consists of the entire construction, or entire TSK's construction rather. The TSK's construction is made up of an article, ha, followed by a nominative singular masculine participle katavenon and its modifiers, the conjunction ke, and another nominative singular masculine participle vidus and its modifiers. This is very important to note that the article ha here is governing both participles katavenon and vidus, and both these participles are referring to the same person. In this context, it is Jesus that is in focus, of course. But you might wonder, how do we know? How do we know when both these substantives refer to the same person? According to Granville Sharp, there are three requirements that the substantives must meet, and if they meet all three, they will always refer to the same person. If not, then they may or may not refer to the same person. So I want us to qualify these two participles according to these rules that he has. The three demands that he gives are that the substantives must be personal, which these two are, they must be singular, and they must be non-proper, as are katavenon and vidus. So we know that these two participles are referring to the same person. In fact, where the verb estin is concerned, you can draw equal sign between ha artos tu theou and the TSK's construction, because the bread of God is the one coming down from heaven and the one who's giving life to the whole world. We of course have a prepositional phrase ek tu uranu that is modifying katavenon. It tells us that he's coming down from heaven. It gives us the source actually of the action of the participle, and then we have zoane, the accusative singular zoane, which is functioning as the direct object of the participle didus, and to cosmo here. The dative to cosmo is functioning as the indirect object. So to get the full picture, we know that the bread of God is the one coming down from heaven and the one giving life to the world. This is all new to you, so for the purpose of learning, I want us to look at the same sentence illustrated differently. We have our main verb esten, its subject ha'artos tu theou, and the predicate nominative. The predicate nominative, as you can see, consists of the entire TSK's construction. The TSK's construction again is made up of an article ha, a substantival participle katavenon, ke, and another substantival participle didus, because remember, as we said, this article here governs both participles. Further to this, we have a prepositional phrase ek tu uranu, which is modifying the participle katavenon, giving us a source of the action, and then we have the object of the participle didus and the indirect object, telling us that he was giving life to the world. For further clarification, I want us to now consider an example out of the workbook. It is a text that comes out of the book of Mark. What I want you to notice is the construction that we have here. We have an article, substantive, ke, substantive, which, as you have learned, is known as a TSKS construction. What is very important to note is that the article is governing both substantives, pistivsas and baptistis. What we also note is that both substantives are personal, they are singular and non-proper. So according to the Granville Sharp rule, they are referring to the same person. In translation, it comes out nicely as the one who believes and is baptized will be saved. And of course, this entire construction here in the front is functioning as a subject of the verb sothesate. Let's now summarize some of the main points. We have firstly learned that the article substantive ke substantive construction, as we saw in this sentence, is known as a TSKS construction. According to the Granville Sharp rule, both of these substantives, whether they are nouns, participles, or adjectives, refer to the same person if they meet the following three demands. They should be personal, singular, and non-proper. In other words, they should be common terms, not proper names. If the construction meets all three requirements, then the two substantives will always refer to the same person. If they don't meet all three requirements, then they may or may not refer to the same persons or the same objects.